Greetings! Today we're installing the Mishimoto oil catch can system for the PCV side into the Fiesta ST. Okay, so this is the can itself. Very simple design, in and out, just unscrews. And there's your can where the oil gathers, your bronze filter, your baffle, simple enough. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is to install these two plastic barbs into the in and out ports of the can. So I'm just gonna screw it on a little bit by hand first. And then this is an 18mm deep socket. Now, don't want to over tighten this. And they do say that it may not sit fully flush. You don't want to over tighten it because it's plastic and it could deform, and you don't want that. So just a bit at a time. That's starting to feel pretty tight. And once it is pretty tight, it's probably a good time to stop, so that we don't overdo it. So other one, just the exact same thing. Okay, so that's the can prepared, and now we can move on to under the bonnet. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to take the headlight off, so let's get that done. These two bolts right here are what we attach the bracket for the oil catch can to, and on the European model these are kind of too short to attach it to, and also get the nuts on the other end. So we have to take these out and replace them with the two provided longer bolts. Okay, so these are the replacement bolts that Mishimoto provide. Same size here, just a bit longer here. So what I'm going to use to remove the stock bolts is a 13mm socket and just this little extension, just to make it a little bit easier to get in there. Okay, now you can see the new longer Mishimoto bolts. They're actually quite a good bit longer, so that's pretty sweet. So one point to note is that the stock bolts were 13mm to get them off, but then the Mishimoto bolts were actually 12mm, so just a wee point to note. Right, so now we take the oil catch can bracket and we put it around this side of the coolant hose and slip it onto the bolts that we just put in. Alright, so then we use the supplied nuts and tighten them down. Okay, so we're going to tighten these nuts down with a 13mm spanner, but while we do that we need to hold the bolt around the other side with our 12mm socket. So we get that in place first, and then we go at it on the side. And then just repeat the exact same process for the other one. Okay, so that's our bracket nice and firmly in place. So now we need to sort out our hoses. So I've already taken the engine cover off. So as you can see, this is our PCV hose, which is what we are replacing. So it just comes straight out of the valve cover, back into the intake manifold. So we need to get rid of it. So to take the PCV hose out, either end is the same. It's like this little plastic ring where you pinch together the plastic where it's ridged and then just pull it off. So we'll start up here and pinch and pull, just like that. This one down here is a little bit more awkward to pinch the underside, so I'll give it a go, but yeah, gonna have to use some kind of pliers to pinch them together just because I can't get any leverage under here to push. Okay, so I'll just use these bent nose pliers. I just got it in there, pinched together and give it a pull. So that was it. And you can actually see already just the end of that oil. So that's exactly what we're trying to catch. So yeah, now we just need to get this little thing off here and remove the hose completely. Okay, so now that this is loose, it's just got this little clip thing in here holding it in. But before I just, you know, go for it, there's this electrical connection which is just right here, and if I just pull this off, I could damage this, so I'm just going to unclip it. So just push that in at the side and take that out just for safety. So I've got a flathead screwdriver, just going to push it in whilst giving it a bit of a yank. Alright, so that's it out of there. I just managed to cut myself in the process, so watch yourself. So yeah, anyway, now we can feed this out. You can put that little electrical connection back in. Click. So now we're ready to put in the brand new Mishimoto hoses. Okay, so the first hose that we're going to do is for the valve cover, and it's the one with two bends in it, here and here, with the far end being a 90-degree bend. So it comes with clamps, so just slide a clamp over the end for now. Then the other end is already clamped in place. It's just a similar kind of connection that was on the stock hose. So we just line it up and push it on. Nice reassuring click. That's whenever you know it's in place. Okay, similar to before, we just get one of the provided clamps, slide it over the end, which we're going to use momentarily. Other end is clamped in place, ready to go. So we just put it in place, click it on. Okay, so now we're going to put the actual can onto the bracket. So there's two holes and there's two provided screws, and they use 2.5mm Allen key, and there's also some little washers that come with that as well. So we put this under, and then the screws go through the bracket and into the can. So without further ado, I'm going to feed it in kind of butt first, and up into place. It's got this like circular top which kind of fits the bracket. So then we'll get our screw, just kind of get it going by hand first, and then the other. Same thing, getting it going by hand first. You can go most of the way with just using your fingers, which is okay for now, because now we need to put the hoses onto the end of the barbs that we installed earlier. Okay, so that was like way too awkward of an angle to get that in there at. So what I've actually done is I've taken the screws out of the top of the oil catch can again, just so that I can get a little bit of space, a little bit of angle to get this hose onto this barb, because otherwise it just was not happening. See, now I'm just moving on to the other hose, getting it on the barb. Again, just doing it at an off angle, not attached to the bracket, because just for a bit of extra wiggle space. Okay, so that was a bit of a pain to get those on, but I got there in the end. So then I just moved the worm gear clamps to the end and tied them up with a flathead screwdriver, so now they're all good. So now we just need to finalize these little screws, the Allen key screws. So there isn't really a whole lot of like wiggle room now, like it is pretty much just where it's going to be, so we just literally just tighten these down. I've got these decently tight to the point where it's not moving, but not tight to the point where I completely wring the screws, because that's obviously not a good thing. So that's pretty much it in place. We're ready to put our engine cover back on and put our light back in, and that's it. Alright, that's the Mishimoto oil catch can system in place and looking good. Hopefully it functions well. Hopefully you like this video. Please do all that normal YouTube stuff, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time for some new content. All that's left for me to do right now is to take my little Mishimoto penguin air freshener thing, penguin, shove it in the car, see how it smells, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.